Hey guys, today I have a really special treat for you guys. This is an amazing watch. Today we're going to be reviewing the Seiko SLA017 Now, this watch is an incredible piece, and why don't we start the unboxing and we'll get into it. So the outer box is just a plain white box, and it has this really nice kind of engraved gold Seiko logo. So inside the box this is the instructions, and there's a warranty card in there as well. And this is the instructions manual for the wonderful 8L35 and 8L55 automatic caliber Seiko movements. And I think this is pretty much the highest end Seiko movement that is made on the regular Seiko watches, which is also a undecorated version of a Grand Seiko movement. It's kind of just like a less fancy version of a Grand Seiko movement into a normal Seiko watch, and the best one they make. So the box for this is, looks like it's a little worn out, but it's really nice. It's like a blue leather. It feels really good. It almost reminds you of like a Grand Seiko box. It is different though. It's not the same as a Grand Seiko box. I would even argue that the leather on this one feels more genuine versus the Grand Seiko box leather. It could just be because this one's grained, so it kind of gives you the illusion that it's full leather versus the Grand Seiko boxes where it's very smooth leather. This one just has the appearance of leather a little better. You guys can see this really nice gold engraving into the box here, and the reason it's worn out is because this is actually a pre-owned model. I could not find this brand new, and if I did, it was astronomical prices, so I had to go for a pre-owned. So let's check out the watch, and there it is. Really nice gold Seiko logo right there, and this is kind of like a silk material inside here. It's really nice. And the box, I mean, this presentation is just really nice. And there's the watch, beautiful. So you do get this additional bracelet. The way it's presented like this just makes it look so much more high-end. I really love that about this. For those of you that want to see the hang tag, it's just a Seiko Prospects tag, and there it is. It says the reference, the model number, and the caliber right there, 8L35, and here it is. Beautiful. It comes on this really nice blue velvet, like a jewelry pillow, and this is just a beautiful watch. And this is a normal Seiko model, which actually does have Zaratsu polishing on it, so you could see that mirror finish, and the finishing on this is amazing. It's just beautiful. I mean, even the bezel, you get that nice domed crystal. The reason this watch is so special is that it is actually based on the 62mas, which is the original Seiko diver, which was released in 1962. But it's not just a recreation of that watch. This one is actually a re-edition, meaning it is an exact copy of that watch that came out. You get that same gray dial that debuted on the original model. You get that domed crystal. You get everything except the right there where it says 200 meters. The water resistant for the original was 150 meters, so they updated that, and the diameter grew by, I think, like a millimeter or two. Obviously the glass is sapphire now, and the bezel is ceramic, which looks beautiful, by the way, but it is exactly how that watch was back in 1962. It's almost like buying a vintage new old stock. Like, that's how this watch feels, and just having this is amazing. This was one of my grails. I really wanted this watch, probably my favorite Seiko piece, and it kind of just is so perfect. And the waffle strap that comes on this, it's like the most amazing rubber strap I've ever seen. I know it's just a rubber strap, but it just fits this watch so well, and I don't think I'm ever going to use the bracelet, to be honest. The bracelet overall looks like a decent quality bracelet. It's kind of like that oyster style bracelet. The clasp looks okay, and it does have solid links too, solid end links as well. But something about this watch just makes it look so much better on this waffle strap. I feel like on the bracelet it would kind of look like an ordinary diver, where on this it kind of brings out its personality. And that gray dial is amazing. It's really nice. So this watch is actually limited to only 2,000 pieces, and it released back in 2017. So as you guys can imagine, the market kind of ate these things up, and they're going for way above MSRP. A good condition example will run you into Grand Seiko territory. For what this watch actually is, I feel like the price is very much justified. This, in my opinion, is the best version of the 62mas re-editions, you could say, because they also made the SLA043 with the blue dial, but the original gray dial just pays respects to the very first one that came out back in 1962. I feel like this is definitely the one to get. It just stands out so much as an original. There's really no comparison. It's equivalent to, I would say, an older vintage Rolex Submariner. It kind of plays that same role here. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but these markers are just so shiny. They reflect so much light. It's not like a typical toolish dive watch. I mean, it is a tool watch, but it has a lot of polished surfaces, a lot of Zaratsu polishing, a lot of reflectiveness going on. If you guys can see, the inner ring is like a chrome. On the SKX, where it would be a chapter ring, that inner ring right there, it looks like it's some kind of a chrome reflective metal. That might also be Zaratsu polished. The markers are definitely Zaratsu polished. They're very shiny. They reflect a lot of light. The hour markers have very strong lume. I can confirm that. Even if I step out with this for like a couple seconds, if I go somewhere where it's even slightly dark, the lume is just so bright on this. It's like a bright green. I think old Seikos just have really good lume, but this one looks like it's really filled with a lot of lume. But I will say the hour markers have a lot of metal around them, and they reflect a lot of light. Same with the hands. And I love the handset on these. They're so simple, but so elegant. And you have that lume pip at the 12 o'clock on the bezel, which looks really nice. And I like the fine teeth, you could say, on the edge of the bezel there. You have a signed crown here. Feels really high quality. And the rubber strap has like this metal, it's like this black metal Seiko thing to hold the strap in place. Really nice. And even the buckle is like polished. And it says Seiko right in there on the underside to keep it as close to the original as possible, which they did an amazing job at. I mean, everything is just exactly how it looks on the original, which is so cool. You can see that gray dial. So this is the back of the case, and you can see right there, this is 1309 out of 2000. This is actually the emblem that was back on the back of the original 62mas, so they kept that, the dolphin emblem. It's not really an emblem, it's kind of just like a symbol. And it says Air Divers 200, which they also kept as part of the original. Alright guys, here it is on wrist, and it's at 39.5 millimeters. I think it's a really good fit, and it doesn't feel too big. The bezel is like very thin, so it makes the dial kind of look bigger than it actually is, but I think it's just so beautiful, and I love that domed sapphire crystal. It just looks so cool, and I mean, I think it's a really nice fit. I think it wears kind of like an SKX. I would say it wears a little bit bigger than its 39 millimeters suggest, but yeah, it fits about like a 40. Yeah, I think it fits similar to an SKX, but really cool. Just such a cool watch. And that gray dial is just so amazing. You can see how sharp these edges are, how it goes from the brush surface to the polished surface. And it's just amazing casework on this thing. Everything's so sharp and so well done and finished at a way higher standard than a typical Seiko watch is. I would say yes, this thing definitely feels the price, and the strap again just fits this watch so well. Really cool. I mean, this thing is very special to me. I think this is probably more special than a Submariner is, just because of the sheer, you know, retrospect of how they haven't really done any design changes to it at all. It looks exactly the same like it did back in 1962. And that's a really cool feeling, to have something like new with a nice updated movement, but looks exactly the same as the vintage style. It's just something the Submariner and the Seamaster don't quite 100% have. There are design changes between the two, but you put this next to an original 62mas and you'll have a tough time telling them apart. Just an amazing watch, guys. Definitely recommend. If you were only gonna have one diver in your collection, I could pretty much say this is it and finish my collection right there. It's probably not gonna happen, but this would be the one that I would choose. Amazing. So what do you guys think of this watch? Let me know in the comments below. See you guys next time.